Hello, I'm Debs, and this is Debs Made This. Welcome and Happy New Year. This is a very late Friday Sews. I say it's late because it's about 6 weeks since, well, maybe even more, since my last vlog, and I'll explain about that at the end. But I thought I would seize the day and just pop on and say hello, Happy New Year. Hope you've had a lovely festive time, and show you some lovely presents I got for Christmas, a couple of the things I made, some of the things I've been sewing, and some of the things I've got planned. I do have some fabric acquisitions, but I think I'll probably do that in a separate vlog if that's okay. So first of all, mustn't forget, thank you to Jen at Today in Jen Sewing Room for Friday Sews, even though this is Saturday. I am wearing an LB pullover by Paper Theory Patterns in a thrifted man-made fibre of some description, but it's had a lot of wear. I've enjoyed wearing it, so we'll go with that. It didn't go to landfill, so that's the main thing. So I'm going to show you. Should we do what I've been sewing? So because that fits with that, right? So I have been sewing, not very much. I've been sewing presents for other people, and I will show you. I've got one of them here. So the things I have been sewing, I sewed some face wipes for my middle daughter, and if I can get a picture, I'll put it in here. This was used in some leftover bamboo terry toweling and jersey with watermelon lollies on that we used for our outfits when we went to see Harry Styles a couple of years ago. So we'd got those, so I used those up. My daughter, I made for her a pair of pyjama bottoms with Spider-Man on, which I used the Nocturne pattern by Sew Liberated, which is my favourite pyjama pattern. For the husband, I will put a picture of him. He just put this on now to show you, but it's very creased. This is a Cameron shirt by Helen's Closet, made in some really nice kind of Japanese-inspired fabric with stalks on that came from the Cone Exchange in Harrogate. I'm quite pleased. I think maybe he needs, I did do a toile for this when I was at the Harrogate Sew Show, and I think it fits quite well. I think he could perhaps do with a couple of, well, a centimetre longer in the sleeve, but that's just me being picky. He's definitely got enough room in the back. And he has a Be Strong, Be Happy, Be You label in it, and I've done press studs on it. He has a bit of an issue with his sensation in his fingers, so buttons are not very helpful for him. So I did kind of and ah about doing magnetic snaps, but he says these snaps have worked very well, so I'm very pleased with that. So the other things that I have been sewing was an outfit for, well, it was going to be Christmas, and then it was going to be New Year, and I didn't quite get to it. I don't know. My Sojo is definitely not present at the moment in its normal way. So I made, look at which way around we go. I think it goes that way around. This is the Sati by a Skirt by Vicky Sews, which I hadn't made before. This is done in a viscose velvet in this really lovely kind of warm chocolate colour that came from Rainbow Fabrics as an end piece last year, and I didn't get it made up, and it had quite a lot of marks and faults in it, which made cutting out a bias skirt quite tricky. It also meant I didn't think I would have quite enough left, but I kind of had in my head if I could do some kind of a top I would, and in the end what I did was to use the bits that I've got faults on, and you'll see on the back here there's a fault, and on the front there's a bit of a fault in the pile here, in the fault in the pile. But that was the only way to kind of get anything out of it. And I thought, well, if it's driving me bonkers, I could always do some embroidery of it. Now, this is a pattern that you can't get unless you can find a paper version of it. So this is the Marilla Walker Nautilus pattern, which was in one of her zines. But I've adapted it slightly because it normally has a button placket down the front, and I just omitted the button placket, put it on the fold, added a seam line because I had to put fold lines in it anyway. And I did put the cuffs on, although I ummed and ahed about whether to put the cuffs on, and it is just long enough to tuck in. So that's worked out quite well. I don't know whether this one will get a lot of wear, or whether I actually might end up wearing that, but with a pair of trousers. You can see I've done, I made some a facing on the front and a bias on the back, although it was a facing, but I ended up cutting it down and turning it under because I felt it sat better. Anyway, so I was quite pleased with that. So I will, I might not get a picture of that for this vlog of me in it, but I will do it with my makes roundup if I get a chance. The other things I've been making, I made my daughter, she's an avid crocheter, and I made her a needle keeper and a project bag using the leftovers from Paul's shirt. And I don't think I've got very good pictures, but I'll put the pictures in now. The company was called, I think it's Laola. I'll put it down there if that's wrong. And they do needle keeper and a project bag, and you can buy the bundle together and get a discount. And so having made that for her, I was having definite FOMO. And so currently I am sewing, this is my current work in progress, one for me. And long-time viewers will know that some of these fabrics have been in garments for quite a long time, especially this. This was made into a rosa dress. This is Liberty Cotton corduroy, needle cord. And I made this into a rosa dress, I think, during the pandemic. So now 5 years ago, or coming up for 5 years ago, but I kept all of my scraps because I loved it so much. And so I'm really pleased that I've managed to kind of use the little bits that I had left. It obviously isn't quite finished. The binding goes round the back. I think this is going to be a goodie, and I have got things cut out to do the project bag. I can't remember how much of everything else that I got in it, but yeah, no, I'm quite pleased with how that's turned out. So you can see that I probably have been doing a little bit of knitting recently, so I'll do that right at the very end, so I'll put chapters on. So I thought I would share with you some of my Christmas presents too, if that's okay. So I had some lovely things. I had the lady I walk the dog with, I've talked about before, my dog's best friend, her owner, got me this really sweet Liberty Needle pincushion. How lovely is that? So I was really pleased with that. My son made me a little ceramic pot to put bits and pieces in it, and so that's going to stay by the side, and I'm going to put some precious pieces in that, so that's going to sit there. I must be careful with that. And for the first time I did the secret sewist swap. Now I was a bit nervous about this. I was nervous about whether the recipient would like the gift, whether I'd be putting the right kind of things in, and in the end I didn't even take a picture for you of what I put in it. I made a bestie bag from some of my favourite denim. I lined it. This lady was very into both gardening and bearded dragons, and so I made I lined it in a floral fabric because I tried really hard and I couldn't find any reptile fabric that I liked very much. But I did do some little bearded dragon things. I put in some labels and some tools and all sorts of bits and pieces inside the pockets of the bag, and she messaged to say that she was very pleased with it, so that's nice. So then I kind of had forgotten that I would be receiving something, so that was quite exciting. And so the lady who sent my present was Claire, who's at Loves Red Sews, and I'm sure that you probably all follow her. Right, and my favourite thing of what I got sent were these incredible labels from Beyond Measure, which, as you know, is one of my favourite shops of all time, and some very lovely proper needles, which, as you know, I hand sew everything, lots of things, so that's very helpful. And then there was a sweet tree and a little Christmassy decoration and some oil and some lovely other labels as well. So that was really nice. What a beautiful present to get. I was really, really pleased. So that was a lovely thing. And it all came in that kind of lovely mermaid box, which I was really pleased with. I was quite spoilt, actually. Mr. Brady, my husband, got me a couple of presents as well. Sorry, this might scrunch. I should have got this out before. So this is also from Grace at Beyond Measure. And I told him about this as soon as she released these. I said to him, "Oh, look how beautiful this is," because I knew he would appreciate it. So this is like a little hand sewing kit. So you put your threads and your needles. So if you were doing like hand embroidery or you were hand stitching something, that would go together, and that would keep it safe. So look at that gorgeous acorn. How beautiful is that? So I was very, very pleased with that. And I hadn't asked for any other sewing gifts at all from him, but never one to be outdone with surprises. This was under the Christmas tree. I know. Oh my So this is a projector, and I had been talking about projector sewing a few years ago and then kind of forgotten about it completely. And he had been watching me organise so many paper patterns and sticking things together. And yeah, this is what he came up with. So this is mounted, it isn't in here. It's mounted next door. I should put a picture of where it's been put. It was on my Instagram actually, but I haven't got started. But I have bought a pattern. I bought the chalk and notch Wren, thinking about the name, Wren Blouse and dress, although I'm not bothered for dress, but the Wren Blouse, because they have recently introduced projector files to most of their patterns. So that's quite exciting. So that will be my first official chalk and notch pattern, because I haven't made my aisles yet, and my first projector. So I shall let you know how I got on with that. And the other thing I got was knitting rather than sewing, and this was something that I requested, but this is a sock knitting book. So yeah, I have started sock knitting. I shall show you my sock at the end. I also had bought for myself Becky's Sewing Studio Advent Calendar. This is my first time ever doing an advent calendar, a sewy advent calendar. I have done a label one before, and I was accepting that some of the things that came in the box I wouldn't be very bothered for. I am very particular when it comes to presents and the quality and the colours, and I'm just have an eye for detail that some people don't appreciate. And I just thought I'd show you a couple of the things that came through. There was a lovely little belt buckle, which is very sweet, which I think I might put on a bag. There were these little leatherette, I think, labels, which again would work really well for bags. If you can't see that, I'll put another picture in. And these really cute labels, which were like leopard print sewing machines on a pink label, and then a blue one that was like, I think it was a seam ripper on the tape. Oh no, there you go, a rotary cutter. I'll put these in on a picture. And a little, so they're really nice and really soft. As you know, I'm weird about the sensation of things against my back. So that was, there were lots of other lovely things as well. They were just the three that happened to be out. So did you get some good Christmas presents? If you got anything that's sewing related, let me know. Have you got a projector? Give me some top tips on that. So yeah. And next is what I'm going to sew next. So I have a few fabrics that I have new. I'm not going to, like I say, I'll do a separate vlog on that. But I have my current plans is, this is I think this is a cotton that came from Kaylee at Fleur before in November time, I think. And this is going to be a Vernon shirt with the lantern sleeves, I think. And the other thing that's in the pipeline, the other thing that I forgot to show you is this. This is also a gift. This came from my Auntie Maureen and is a vintage Liberty fabric. So it's only 90 centimetres wide, I think. And I think that this is a pattern that's still about. I've seen it in a different colourway, but I thought this was really pretty. If I could squeak it out, that would make a really nice Wren blouse, wouldn't it? Let's see. So an update. So I haven't been here. I just checked. From the 15th of November was my last Friday sews. Now I did have another vlog for you, which was a pattern review on my Riviera dress, which I wore to the knitting and stitching show. And I am going to publish that probably this week. I hesitated because there were some parts of the pattern that I was a little bit critical of, and I kind of got cold feet about publishing something which was my honest review. So I kind of, it was making me very anxious. And so I just didn't do it. So, which meant you didn't get any of the vlog things I got planned for Christmas. But I'm sure you were fine. There was lots of vlogmas about, wasn't there? And it meant that I got to watch a few of those, which was quite nice. I didn't watch a lot. I watched the seamstress at the cottage, Katinka's, some of hers, and I watched some of Theresa at Lost My Thread, and a little bit of Sarah Sewed, the Australian knitter and sewer. But I just kind of dipped in. I didn't do every day with anybody. So yeah, so that was nice, wasn't it? But maybe next year. But I just thought that I do probably have to be honest when I'm reviewing things. Otherwise, there's not a lot of point, is there? So yeah, look out for that coming. I'm going to tweak it slightly, I think, and I'm putting my Christmas, wore that dress on Christmas Day. I'll put a picture of that here because I really enjoyed wearing it. spoiler. But yeah, that's kind of what's been going on. Things have been kind of busy. There's been lots of adaptations and changes that have been needed to make over Christmas time. And the other thing I was doing was I was helping with a project that we did at church where we made hearts of hope. I'll put a picture of those in, and we hung these outside church on a tree, so if people were passing, they could take that little bit of hope home with them. There was a little bit of scripture attached to it as well. So that was, they were all hand stitched. So I kind of did that. And I know she watches. So I also went down to see my Auntie Maureen, and we went to the seaside. So I should put a picture of that in as well. She is was an avid dressmaker back in the day. And she enjoys watching the vlogs, I think. So hello, Auntie Maureen. Please do me a favour and do the like and the interaction thing, because I haven't been on for 6 weeks, so YouTube won't show this video to anybody unless you leave me emojis in the comments, or do something, share it with somebody, do something like that for me, please. I mean, not that I'm very bothered, I'm not like counting subscribers and all that stuff, but I just, I want to keep encouraging people to be brave with their making and to try things they haven't tried before. I mean, I think especially watching people get excited around the fabric and the making, I think that's what it's for. I'm just sharing my kind of little journey. Right, knitting. Like I said, I'll do this separately. So I got tons of this wool from the Cone Exchange, which is that reclaim place. And so I have just finished knitting. Again, these are thick socks because I'm learning kind of the techniques. And this is done with a rib on here, and then an inserted gusset and a heel flap. I think that's what that's called. And so, yeah, I'm kind of learning how to do that. It takes me a long time compared to how long it takes me to sew things. But yeah, I'm finding it quite restful, and I've got fancy yarn and the book and another project ready to go. So yeah, if you're a knitter, let me know what things you'd like to knit. So I think that's it for today. I hope that hasn't been too chaotic and rambly. Well, it probably has, but never mind. I will say again, I hope Happy New Year to you all, and thank you so much for watching, and I shall see you again with both the review for the Riviera dress and my 2024 roundup very soon. Bye for now.